Ruth Maguire, followed by Alexander Stewart.
Presiding Officer, during First Minister's questions today, a colleague, and forgive me, I can't remember who said it, but they said that we were in a privileged position to be able to offer asylum. I absolutely concur with that. Article 14 of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights states that everybody is entitled to seek asylum. And I want to open my remarks with a few basic questions which underlies how I believe we should approach the need of asylum seekers. If we were in a situation where we were fleeing for our very lives and with a right to seek asylum guaranteed under international law, how would we wish to be treated at the first port of call where we sought sanctuary? If we or our families or loved ones had cause to flee from our homes, from our towns or villages, only taking what we could carry in fear of our lives, how would we want to be treated? Would we want to be shown compassion, care, decency and humanity? Would we expect to be able to work and contribute to our new community? How we treat those who need our help defines who we are and what we value as individuals and as a society. We must ensure that we do all we can to ease the process for asylum seekers. At present, we have a ridiculous situation in which asylum seekers based in Scotland have to make the long journey to the screening unit in Croydon to make their claim rather than here. And of course, claiming asylum must be extremely traumatic and disorientating, a process in which claimants have to be evaluated to determine whether a return to their home country would lead to persecution with a range of factors: race, religion, sexual orientation, nationality or political beliefs. And Presiding Officer, despite the appalling rhetoric on immigration from the UK government and its inhumane hostile environment policy, the numbers of asylum seekers in the UK are at a historic low. At the start of this century, there were over 100,000 asylum applications annually in the UK, but the rate is now at about 30,000 a year, despite a recent spike caused by the Syrian situation. And I would endorse comments made by Sandra White that we have an absolute responsibility in areas where we're perpetrating more conflict. The success rate for applications in that period has risen. Absolutely not, Michelle Valentine, no. The success rate for applications in that period has risen. However, from less than a third being successful to about 40%. For successful applications, there remain many barriers to be navigated through in settling into their new lives. Amongst their challenges, they will have just 28 days after leaving asylum accommodation to find a new home, to set up a bank account, to register for benefits, to apply for a job. I'm pleased that the Scottish Government is making progress in coordinating the efforts of organisations and community groups across Scotland to help with this integration process through its New Scots refugee integration strategy, which has been endorsed by the UN HRC for involving refugees and asylum seekers in its conception and delivery. The failings of the Westminster current asylum system are many, Presiding Officer. I'm proud that Scotland plays its part in welcoming those fleeing persecution. My own constituency is Cunningham South, and North Ayrshire Council is just one of many which has taken in refugees as part of the Syrian resettlement programme, which across the country has settled more than 2,000 refugees, providing them with access to health, education and other essential services to help them integrate into our society. As New Scots, their arrival strengthens our diversity and helps us to collectively redefine and build on our identity as a nation. Nevertheless, as has been mentioned by countless other speakers, the circumstances in which Scotland wishes to help are becoming more difficult by the day, particularly with regards to the provision of accommodation. I'm running out of time, Presiding Officer, so in just closing, I would ask that Conservative colleagues who've been keen to share warm words use whatever little influence they have with the UK Home Office and insist that they work with the Scottish Government, with local government and with the third sector. Just leaving us to pick up the pieces is utterly unacceptable.
Before